It happened on a Tuesday, a day like any other, until it wasn't. Canadians everywhere were reaching for their morning Starbucks, expecting routine. But on this Tuesday, Starbucks vanished. Every store, every cup, gone. The news hit like a blizzard. Starbucks was shutting down production in Canada. All of it. Imagine the silence, the collective gasp from Vancouver to Halifax. Starbucks wasn't just a coffee shop. It was a ritual, a meeting place, a comfort. The idea of it stopping? Unthinkable. It was like hockey being canceled forever. Phones buzzed with disbelief. Was it a joke? A meme? No, it was real. The green siren was gone overnight. One day, you're sipping a caramel macchiato. The next, the doors are locked. The announcement was cold, corporate, and final. For most, the jargon meant nothing. What mattered was the loss. Morning routines, shattered. Familiar comforts, gone. Canada was left standing in the cold, metaphorical cup in hand. A caffeine crisis, declared not by the government, but by a Seattle coffee giant. Disbelief turned to dread. What would mornings look like now? Where would people meet, study, or just exist? It was more than coffee. It was community, routine, comfort. Canada, the land of politeness and stability, was about to face withdrawal, and nobody was ready for the fallout. The shock was instant, the impact immeasurable. The country's daily rhythm had just lost its beat. Why did Starbucks pull out? The official statement was all strategic pivots and global optimization, but the real reason? Money. Starbucks wasn't losing money in Canada, it just wasn't making enough. Rising costs, fierce competition, and a saturated market squeezed profits. Tim Hortons, indie cafes, and 1,000 other options made every dollar a fight. Meanwhile, Starbucks saw bigger growth in Asia and Latin America. Why struggle for a small gain in Canada when you can chase huge returns elsewhere? The Canadian roasting plant needed a massive upgrade. The math didn't add up, so they pulled the plug. Cold, calculated, corporate. For employees and customers, it was a personal disaster. For Starbucks HQ, it was just a line on a spreadsheet. And with a single decision, they erased themselves from Canada. The news exploded online. Jockert Starbucks Canada and Jockert Caffeine Crisis trended within minutes. Memes, jokes, and digital mourning swept the country. News anchors led with the story. Reporters interviewed stunned customers. Social media became a public square for grief and outrage. Baristas posted tearful TikToks of their last drinks. Instagram filled with final Frappuccino photos. People weren't just losing coffee, they were losing a piece of their daily lives. Comment sections overflowed with rants, goodbyes, and memories. Everyone had a Starbucks story, first dates, study sessions, life moments. The shutdown wasn't just business news, it was personal. The country was united in shock, sadness, and a little bit of humor. The digital conversation was massive, caffeinated, and deeply Canadian, and the breakup was anything but amicable. Enter Mark Carney, former Bank of Canada governor, usually calm, always composed, but when asked about the Starbucks shutdown, he lost it, publicly, spectacularly. "It's an absolute disgrace," he shouted, red-faced, waving his briefcase. "A betrayal of Canadian consumers and employees, all for profit margins." He ranted about loyalty, routine, and the soullessness of global corporations. At one point, he mourned his double-shot, no-foam latte. "Now what? Tim Hortons? Do I look like a double-double man?" The meltdown went viral. Carney Tantrum trended instantly. Canadians saw themselves in his outrage, frustrated, let down, caffeine-deprived. It was hilarious, human, and oddly heroic. For a moment, Carney was every Canadian denied their morning fix. He became the nation's well-dressed, coffee-loving spirit animal. The shutdown hit everyone differently. Chloe, a freelance designer in Calgary, lost her office, her Starbucks armchair, her daily routine, her community. Jean-Luc, a Montreal student, saw his 24-hour study sanctuary vanish overnight. His group's all-night cram sessions, gone. Dave, a Vancouver foreman, just wanted his simple black coffee before work. Now, even that was complicated. In small-town Nova Scotia, Starbucks was the social hub. Retirees, parents, teens. Its closure felt like a death in the community. The mayor called it a huge blow. "It's not just jobs, it's the space we're losing." Across Canada, the loss was more than caffeine. It was the loss of a gathering place. Routines were upended, communities felt the void. People scrambled for new spots, but nothing felt quite the same. The green siren wasn't just a logo, it was a beacon. Now it was dark. The shockwaves rippled from big cities to small towns. The country's daily life was fundamentally changed, and everyone was left searching for a new normal. The loss was real, and it was everywhere. For baristas, the news was devastating. Sarah, a Toronto shift supervisor, spent her last day giving out free drinks and phone numbers. Her Starbucks family broken up by a distant boardroom. But for local coffee shop owners, it was a rare opportunity. Omar, owner of the Daily Grind, put up a sign. "Your local coffee shop is still here for you." Former Starbucks regulars trickled in, hesitant but curious. Omar welcomed them, offering better coffee and a personal touch. Office workers held meetings at his tables. New routines began. Across Canada, indie cafes saw a surge of new faces. The death of the Starbucks routine gave birth to 1,000 new ones. Local businesses, long overshadowed, finally had their moment. The market disruption was massive, and for small entrepreneurs it was a chance to shine. Customers discovered quality, community, and character. The giant had fallen, the locals were ready. A new coffee culture was brewing, and it tasted different in the best way. So, what now? In the short term, chaos and confusion, thousands out of work, empty storefronts everywhere, Canada's daily rhythm disrupted, but the vacuum creates opportunity. Tim Hortons will try to fill the gap, but the real excitement is local. Indie cafes are poised for a renaissance. More diversity, more quality, more community. Coffee culture could become less about brands, more about people and place. Canadians might become coffee snobs, and that's not a bad thing. The shutdown could be a catalyst, not a catastrophe. It's a lesson in the risks of relying on global giants and a celebration of small business resilience. New routines will form, new favorites will emerge. Mark Carney may never love a double-double, but Canada will adapt. The future, still caffeinated, and a lot more interesting.